Now that we've talked about the relationship between activities, we can get in and begin creating a network diagram. So to create a network diagram, we're talking about visualizing the project work. We're talking about the flow of the project work. So we're showing the relationship of our work activities and how the project flows from the start to the end. The only type of network diagram you need to know for your exam is called Activity on Node, AON. Like in this little picture here, activity C and D and E, that's an activity. And so the arrows just show the flow. The nodes are where all the information is about the activity. What we use, and what you'll be using and need to know for your exam, is called the precedence diagramming method. The precedence diagramming method is like we saw with our relationship between activities. We have successors and predecessors. So predecessors are upstream, successors are downstream. It's the most common, it's what Microsoft Project uses. If you were to draw out the flow of your work, like you start here and you end up here, in the flow of all your activities, you'll be using PDM. So what's the predecessor and a successor? Each activity can be a predecessor and a successor. So you could have an activity to prime the wall. Well, this could be a successor to install the drywall. You have to put the drywall up first, then you can prime the wall. So it succeeds the drywall. Well, after this, any activity after this would succeed this guy. So this could be paint the wall. So paint the wall is now a successor. And this guy, in this instance, is a predecessor. So don't let that trick you that it could only be one or the other. So an activity could be both because you could have predecessors and successors. The activities are put in little squares. These are the nodes. You might sometimes see them in a circle, but squares are the most common. And then the arrows that you'll see in this, let's take a look now. The arrows that you see, or the connection of the lines that you see, are just show the flow of the work. So sometimes you don't see an arrow, and other times you will. Don't let that trick you. It's just the flow of the work. The lines show how the work flows. So in this example, we're seeing these different nodes, and we're seeing a lot of different numbers. So we're moving closer to schedule network analysis. I know that's what a lot of you are eager to see. But this is our sample network diagram. This is a schedule model of how do we go from the start all the way to the end. And so we'll see this in more detail. We're getting there where we're going to figure out how do we find float. This is how we do it. This is what we base it on, is you have to have a network diagram to examine. So hang tight, we're getting there, it's coming. Network templates, just like our activity list, there's no reason to start from scratch every time. So if I have a similar project, let's just adapt it. If you always have the same flow of work, so nearly the same flow of work, you could have a pre-populated network diagram that you just adapt. So again, this is an organizational process asset. Keep moving forward.